You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Monday, July 7th, the John Deere Classic is officially in the books. What a week. What a weekend of golf it was here in the Quad Cities. We got so much to get to. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate that. If you've subscribed, we appreciate that as well. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Get subscribed ASAP. We're also live on X. X, always very good to us, so we appreciate you if you check us out on X as well. And also, you can check out all the podcasts right now later after the shows run on all your podcasting platforms as well. Go check out last week's shows as well. We had an amazing, fun week out at the Stonehouse at the John Deere Classic. Got to catch up with a lot of familiar faces, tell a lot of fun stories, have a lot of great conversations. So go check those out right now on our YouTube page or on the podcasting platforms as well. Also, a little bit of an anniversary today. It was actually yesterday, but we've been doing this for 6 months officially. July 6th was 6 months, so we are on the second 6 months of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Excited about that. Thankful for that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to my awesome sponsors, all the fantastic guests we've had on as well. 6 months in the books, and we are just getting warmed up. Excited to see what we can do here in the future on Off the Air. A lot of good stuff coming your way. That includes on today's show. Coming up in just a matter of moments, we have a very busy, a very tired, but I'm pretty sure very happy John Deere Classic Tournament Director Andrew Lehman joining us in just a little bit. Also, it's Monday, and we haven't done it in a while. Pat Angerer will join us for our regular Monday conversation. And also, Craig DeVrieze, a staple on this show last week. We're going to talk to Craig as well, kind of wrap up everything that was with the John Deere Classic and some other little stories around the world of golf. That's coming up in hour number 2. So a lot to get to, but we're going to start with that John Deere Classic, where for the first time since 2015, there was a playoff at Deere Run in the John Deere Classic, and it was Illini grad Brian Campbell winning this year's John Deere Classic. He did so, as I mentioned, in a playoff against Emiliano Grillo. He wins with this putt right here. We'll kind of show you some of the action from Deere Run yesterday. A playoff hole. The first playoff hole, we went to 18, and after Grillo got in a little bit of trouble, it was Campbell needing to two-putt to win the John Deere Classic. The birdie doesn't quite go, but he would tap in and he would knock in the par putt to become the 2025 John Deere Classic champion. An amazing story for him. He's someone who was here as a sponsor's exemption in 2015 as an Illini grad, and now he is your 2025 John Deere Classic champion. Let's hear from the guy who hoisted the trophy at Deere Run.
I think maybe today at some point I felt like the putts were going in. I was feeling really comfortable, and then that double on 14 or 15 was hard. But I knew we were, luckily I made a few birdies before that, and we were, we still had some holes left. So I was just focused on what's next. This is the most supporters I've ever had at a golf tournament, and I never imagined it'd be this fun to be out here. And so this is for all of them.
Andrew mentioned 2015 sponsor exemption. Can you go back to 2015 and now doing it now, what it means being a sponsor exemption here and winning the John Deere Classic?
Oh yeah, coming out of college, 2015, lucky enough for them to give me a sponsor invite here. and I just was over the moon that week. Seeing some of the guys out here that I've watched my whole life. Didn't play as well as I wanted that week, but I think it was a really good learning lesson for me. And a couple years later, I got my card and played here for the first time. Played a little bit better. So I think just taking that momentum into this week and thinking, all right, we can do a little bit better than last time.
A lot bit better.
A lot better. A way lot better.
That's right. A lot of ILL, INI chants out at Deere Run this week. Brian Campbell, your 2025 John Deere Classic champion, someone who got on tour and then was off tour for about 7 or 8 years. We'll talk more with Andrew Lehman and Craig DeVrieze about that by getting back on, winning for the second time this season. He becomes like the 5th golfer, I believe, to win twice on tour this year. So congratulations to Brian Campbell, a great champion out at the John Deere Classic. Also, Deere Run was buzzing this week. One of the most popular golfers, maybe this side of Ricky Fowler, was Max Homa. Max Homa came into Sunday one shot off the lead. He birdied 2, 3, and 4, took the lead, but it was the putter that let him down, especially in the back 9. He had birdie putts about 10 feet on 17 and 18. Couldn't make either one. Max Homa played a lot better and was a great story here at the John Deere Classic, but he couldn't quite become the John Deere Classic champion, and we got a good one in Brian Campbell. A few more news and notes from the weekend before we chat with Andrew Lehman. It was a tough weekend for Alleman standout and Notre Dame offensive lineman Charles Jugasol. Charles was in a UTV accident on Sunday out in Wyoming. He fractured his left humerus. He had surgery. It's a favorable prognosis, according to the school. He did have surgery. He missed all of last year's regular season with an injury as well. There's not a nicer and better young man that I've gotten to cover than Charles Jugasol. He was just back in the Quad Cities a few weekends ago for my dad's golf outing, teed it up at the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. One of the best of the best, so we wish him a speedy recovery. I have no doubt in my mind he'll get back out there and be kicking butt for the Irish in the very near future. We'll keep you updated on Charles Jugasol. And also this morning, congratulations, because Iowa's Hannah Stolke and ISU's Audie Crooks are gold medalists. They won a gold medal this morning, or I should say late last night. Team USA beat Team Brazil to win the FIBA AmeriCup gold medal. Stolke with 7 points and 7 rebounds in the gold medal game. So a couple of Iowans, Hannah Stolke and Audie Crooks, coming back to the state of Iowa as gold medalists. Congratulations to them. Very well deserved. Well, it was a good week at the John Deere Classic. It was a fantastic week for me. And I'm lonely this morning because this shot right here, I mean, that's home. Andrew, that's my home away from home. I miss it. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Coming off a great week, and it's lonely here too. I look over to my right where you sat for a week, and all your stuff is gone.
Yeah, you kicked me out. It was on the lawn when I got back on Sunday. No, I'm kidding. I can't thank you guys enough.
I appreciate the gift you left on my desk, though. Thank you for that.
You got it. I will say this, and I already knew this, but people have to know that, and I think they do. Your house, the people in the house. Like, I know why you love your job, and it really, yes, this last week is a reason why. It's a big reason why. It's a fun week. It's awesome. But what you get to, the people you work with for 51 weeks out of the year, Andrew, and I know it sounds cliche, but awesome people out at the Stonehouse. You got to love it.
Well, I do work with them 52 weeks out of the year, tournament week as well. So
you take some weeks off. You take a few weeks off. Come on.
It's a collection of unbelievable people, the best at what they do on the PGA Tour, and even better than that, just wonderful human beings and people that care deeply about this event and the impact that it makes on this community. So it makes going to work with this group every day so much fun.
Absolutely. Before we talk about Brian Campbell, how tired are you this morning? And I feel like, and I remember doing it more so with WQAD the Monday after the adrenaline wears out, but you still have work to do. How tired is Andrew Lehman this morning? A good tired, but tired?
You know what? You're tired. You're kind of running out of adrenaline, as you mentioned, and this week it's hard to push through. Coming off, I don't know, 115, 116 hour work week, but to get to the other side and crown a great champion, to have put 2 world-class concerts in the books, to have had Deere Run packed all week, celebrate the 4th of July as part of our week. And, you can't help but look back and reflect on what an unbelievable week this was. And, just another great John Deere Classic. And it was hot and humid all week, and battled a little bit of weather, and had to pull some levers on Saturday to make sure that we got all the golf in. So we were on track for, 2 sums off of 1 yesterday, plus getting the Dierks Bentley show in. I mean, everything from an execution standpoint was flawless. And I think we made all the right decisions to make sure that we got people out of here Saturday safely.
I want to talk about the week and some of the challenges that were there that you and your staff and volunteers and everyone did a fantastic job with. But let's start with that champion. To have Brian Campbell win, and his story, Andrew, it represents the Quad Cities. It's someone who had to grind and didn't give up. And now he's your John Deere Classic champion. He is an Illini guy, the first Illinois champion since Steve Stricker, who has a pretty good history back here in the Quad Cities. To see Brian Campbell win it as the tournament director, you had to be thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this yesterday, and whether you know this or not, Brian wins yesterday. It's 10 years to the day that he teed it up on Thursday in 2015 as a sponsor exemption. So pretty incredible story there, with it being, to the day. You always try to form great relationships with your sponsor exemptions and hopes that they will come back for many years. And, Brian has done that, and now he's our champion, and we couldn't be more thrilled. That was one of the first things I told him is, hey, you and you're going to carry our banner for the next year. But, as a Hawkeye, I guess I'm going to have to be all right with an Illini guy for a year. And all kidding aside, what an unbelievable young man. And we know he'll do a great job, representing the John Deere Classic brand until he comes back here to defend next year.
Absolutely. You look at a playoff, and it's been the first playoff in 10 years, whatever, 2015. Yeah. It's surprising you see that because it's so close every year. To have a playoff and have the thrill and all those first off, were you surprised that it had been since 2015? Did you realize that? I had somebody say that to me off of 18. I was kind of, oh wow, it was. Playoffs are always interesting, always exciting. Your thoughts on just the first one in 10 years?
Sure seems like it hasn't been that long. But you're right. It was 2015, and the playoff, we don't get a say in which playoff holes are there. That's the tour's decision. And for us, it's 18, 18. So they play 18 twice, and then you go 16, 17, 18. And, this was our first one, obviously, with the concerts. And so that hillside on 18 is packed. Everybody's kind of, settled in for, the ending, the golf ending, plus what's, coming after that. And it would have been interesting to see what would have happened had we gone 18, 18, 16. What would have happened with people leaving 18 to go over there. So I'm thankful that it was, shorter than 3 holes. Ultimately, it's a 1-hole playoff, and, allowed us to still get everybody out of here last night before it got dark. And, I heard that, Emiliano hit it right, under the tree, and a kid picked up his ball right away, pretty instantaneously, picked up his ball and dropped it. So he got relief from that, ultimately got to place the ball, and standing behind 18 green when he hit that shot, it looked good in the air the whole way. And right on I'm guessing he caught just a little bit of a flyer. And then ultimately that's just such a delicate chip shot back there behind the green. And, Brian Campbell gets to 2-putt for a John Deere Classic championship.
The cool part, I want to talk to you about some of the off non-golf things, but the cool part that I love about the John Deere Classic is the stories that develop or that you see or that people come away talking about. Yes, you're going to talk about your winner and the playoff and the finish, but obviously Max Home was one of those guys, Andrew, that people wanted to see play, and he played really well. Didn't quite make it over the finish line, but can you talk about what he was like this week to have him there and the way he played? I think the Quad Cities and the fans here really embraced him as somebody that they enjoyed watching, they enjoyed seeing, and you had to love watch him play well here in the Quad Cities.
Yeah. I mean, Max came into this week and, just listening to his media interview, he's been battling some stuff, it looks like. And to see him play well again, just a phenomenal young guy, and says and does all the right things. And, he had a legion of supporters yesterday with him. And, I hope Max goes on to win here shortly, because he certainly played well enough to win this week, and ultimately, doesn't get it done on Sunday. But I think he's going to come away with hopefully a ton of confidence out of this week. And, if we played a part in that, hopefully we look forward to having those conversations with him in the future. And hopefully he's got some good vibes thinking about the John Deere Classic going forward.
Everything went off without a glitch, but I know there's not. That's the way everyone sees it. What was Saturday like? What was Sunday like? I mean, I think Sunday was a little more calm. I know Saturday there was concerns and all those kind of things. Take us behind the scenes on how all that works, because as you mentioned, as people know, yes, there's a huge golf tournament going on, but there's also a couple concerts that are going on as well. You guys are hosting 3 huge events in the same weekend. What was it like behind the scenes? And you got to be so proud of your staff and also the volunteers for looking back on things. And yeah, there might have been a few like questions to answer, but everything went off great.
Yeah, you start to look at on Friday, when we knew that we had potential for some weather on Saturday. So, the decision for play on Saturday, that's made on Friday. And, for us from an event standpoint, we're involved in that process. The head rules official and chief referee are involved in that process. Ultimately, the decision goes back to the PGA Tour headquarters in Florida. And for us, we're a CBS event. So it's got to be signed off on by CBS out of New York and all the folks that are here locally. So as those decisions start to get made, now we're starting to think about, okay, Dierks Bentley is playing. He's the headliner at the 4th of July show and on Broadway in Nashville. I heard a number, and I haven't had time to go check this, but apparently he played to 300,000 plus people on the 4th of July. And here we have him less than 15 hours later on stage. So, ultimately that decision comes down. It's got to go to Jay Monahan's desk. And the first and foremost, the decisions that are made from a golf standpoint is about the safety of the players and the caddies, and then ultimately all the patrons who are here. So as that decision was finalized and we started to get kind of an idea, okay, we can still have Dierks Bentley go on at 3:45 on Saturday and we'll get a 90-minute show in, because that's what the concerts are. They're both 90-minute shows. And as things materialized on Saturday, we ultimately made the decision to shorten the concert to 60 minutes. The PGA Tour contracted meteorologist who doesn't have to stay on site once the golf is over stayed, had constant communication with him. He monitored the weather. The really cool thing about Saturday, Dierks Bentley put on an amazing show. And, the 90 minutes versus 60 minutes, the 60 minutes that he played, it was fantastic. He hit all the right things. John Deere Classic, golf swing. He did a golf swing on stage. Wanted to drive the Gator back to his bus, so we let him drive the Gator back. And, we loaded the last person on the bus on Saturday, and it started to sprinkle. And within 10 minutes, it just let loose. I mean, it was raining so hard you couldn't see. So all those decisions that you're making in advance, hoping that they work out for public safety, we got everybody out of here before things got, a little bit windy and rainy here.
No, it was amazing to see, and I give weather guys a hard time a lot on the show, and I love them. I love Jay-Z and all those guys, but that meteorologist, like, he nailed it. Like, I talked to you earlier in the day, maybe even the day before, Andrew, and he talked about a timing in which things could come, and like it was almost to the minute. So, and hats off for him to stick around, because like you mentioned, he's not there to be a meteorologist for a concert. He's there for the PGA Tour, and that's very cool to see. Did you get to enjoy the concerts at all?
I was running around, and I was down in and around the area, way off to the side, just kind of taking it in and making sure that everything was going on the way it needs to down there. And our staff does a great job of being able to be mobile and shifting as things are taking place during the concert, but then ultimately shifting our focus to getting people out of here. And it's amazing to me, as busy as that hillside is for the concerts, how quickly we get people out of here. And we had a significant amount more people here yesterday than Saturday, and we knew that with the Fairway Club experience that we did for the first time. And the fact that people are out of here in less than an hour, to move 15,000 people out of here in less than 60 minutes, I give our busing people credit. I give our parking folks credit, all the security who's here, the police officers, our staff, the volunteers, the board of directors, you name it. Everybody's just so eager to help and make sure that we want people, when they show up to the John Deere Classic, to have a great experience from the moment they park their car to the moment they get back to their car. It's kind of the Disney model, and making sure that it's a flawless execution to get them here, let them have a great time, and then ultimately get them out of here safely.
No, absolutely. A few more for you, because I know you're way busy on a Monday right after the John Deere Classic. It seemed to me Thursday's numbers looked fantastic. And then Fridays, I thought, which is the 4th of July, looked stronger than last year. And then the weekend was amazing. I feel like people are starting to revolve their 4th of July festivities and weekends around this event. It took maybe a year to adapt to it. But just thoughts on numbers, what you saw. I know that you were happy. I just looking around, you had to be happy. It was a huge success, not just on the golf course, not just on the stages, but at the golf course itself when it came to the people that came out. Was it not?
It was. And, I think what these concerts have done, it's attracted a wider audience than we typically would have. And the data points and the tickets would tell you that folks that came for the first time, maybe in 23 and 24, are now purchasing tickets to come out here another day and enjoy golf. I think we've introduced, people that were just music fans to golf, and they've fallen in love with it. How can you not have fun out here? There's just so much going on, and there's an energy and a buzz, and to have, a hillside full of people for a trophy presentation that are just ecstatic. He hoists the trophy up over his head, and, everybody just goes nuts. And, it's just fun, and it's a long process to get to tournament week. And then tournament week is, its own unique process, and it's an imperfect business, to be honest with you, because you have to be, able to adapt and make changes on the fly. And that's what this staff does so well here. That's what this group does. They do it, better than anybody else. And, this isn't a job for everybody, and you've got to be able to, kind of wear multiple hats and manage your stress level and go from there. So, to have another John Deere Classic in the books, the 54th one, we're already talking about 2026 and what does that look like? And here we are, not even less than 24 hours removed from yesterday.
There were the doubters, and I know you won't brag or anything, that was like, what, you can't do concerts at a golf tournament. This is year 3. We've had the weather, we've had and they've been successes. I'll brag for you. Like, it's a huge success, but now 3 years later, looking back at being that guy that said, yeah, let's give this a shot. Like, what is your thoughts when you look back and knowing that 3 years in, this thing's continuing to get bigger and bigger?
We talked about this as a group yesterday, and what's amazing is now in its 3rd year, I don't think there's this big stress level with the concerts that we had. And I remember Saturday of 2023 at about 5:00, and we're 45 minutes from going live with Darius Rucker. And I think I had my hand in my head thinking, what have we done? And you know what? We stood there Saturday night, and it was like, we did it. We pulled this off. Here's a group of people and volunteers and board of directors and committee chairs, that put on a pretty good golf tournament. And, we took a leap of faith. It's wildly successful. And I don't know how you can't step back from a 30,000 foot view 3 years removed from the first one, now that we've done 6 concerts, and look at it and go, this is awesome. This is something that has turned this event into a true community event, something for everybody. And to see all the smiles, sitting up there near the bus lines, people are in a great mood. We had a DJ up playing more music on the hillside as people were getting out of here yesterday, and everybody's in a good mood. Hey, thanks so much for doing this. The golf was awesome. The concerts were awesome. And we'll look for the data and the ticket surveys. We pay attention to that stuff, and I just an unbelievable week, and we look forward to Brian. By the way, he's the 6th multiple winner on tour this year. You got Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Ben Griffin, Sepp Straka, Ryan Fox, and now Brian Campbell. So he joins a pretty good list. He joins a pretty good list there as a multiple winner in 2025. And, for him to carry our banner for the next year is going to be awesome. And, we got he and his entourage off on the jet last night to the Scottish Open. And, all those folks are, in Scotland now after taking the charter over. So just an unbelievable thing to, be able to get all these guys here, the strongest field we've ever had from an official world golf ranking standpoint, and, turn those guys back over to the Scottish Open and get them there in style.
I was going to ask you who's next, what's next year, all those kind of things, but I'm not going to do that to you. You deserve a week to relax. I know today, and that's the thing, is the work doesn't stop. But by the end of the week, take some time, relax a little bit. You've done well. I can't thank you guys enough, your entire house, but you in particular, for putting up with me last week. Really enjoyed the shows. Got some fantastic feedback from the shows. I had Decker Plain on, and I survived. He didn't cancel me, didn't say anything inappropriate. It was really good. So take a day, enjoy it, do a victory lap or two, and we'll catch up with you again real soon. I miss you, buddy.
Hey, me too. Thanks for everything. Thanks for a great week. And, thanks for continuing to tell the John Deere Classic story.
Hey, last thing too. This is kind of like my 6-month birthday. And like, it was yesterday, but this stupid show's been on for 6 months. And I got to thank you because, one, you're right near the top of the most frequented guests, which is why it's been so successful. But I also want to thank you because you supported this thing and encouraged me to do this stupid stuff from the jump. And I appreciate that as well. So I appreciate you.
Hey,
owe you lunch or something like that. And go get a nap or go lay down on the couch and look at the leaf. Look at the tree. All right.
I will. The therapy tree is looking good out there right now. So.
See you, pal. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Andrew Lehman, the tournament director out of the John Deere Classic. It was a fantastic week of golf. As I mentioned, I can't thank them enough for allowing me to come out to the house and crash it. I brought chips, and so I drank almost every Diet Coke they had in their fridge. I had to restock on Sunday. So whoever's Diet Coke that was, I'm sorry. I was thirsty. I replaced it. It was a lot of fun. So we got more of the John Deere Classic coming up in a little bit. Around 11 o'clock, Craig DeVrieze is going to talk to us about some ins and outs of what happened this weekend. And also Ed Fiori passed away yesterday as well, the guy who beat Tiger. So we'll talk much more with Craig DeVrieze about all of those kind of things and a little more with the John Deere Classic coming up at 11 o'clock. But we are just getting warmed up. A fun off the air on a Monday here in the Quad Cities. Coming up after the break. It was a tradition here for 6 months. Pat Anger would be here on Monday and we'd chat and we'd have fun and it was a good time. And then we haven't seen Pat in a little while. He's been busy. I've been busy, but it's our normal Monday chat with Pat Anger. We'll talk about some Iowa football. Where it's located now. Iowa Football Radio here in the Quad City has a new home. In the Quad Cities has a new home. We'll talk about that and much more. Pat Anger right after this on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak. with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today.
Yo, Quad Cities, let me tell you, if you're looking for something fun to do, I've got it. Saturday night, July 12th, the Steamwheelers are throwing down against Green Bay for John Deere night. And it's about to be straight up legendary. The team's rocking custom John Deere jerseys. John Deere employees get in free, and there's even a free halftime concert by Loyal Sills.
Get away, change your names, go state.
Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets before they're gone.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Mondays were always reserved for Pat Anger, and we've gotten lazy this summer, and Pat hasn't. Pat's continuing to dominate the Quad Cities, but we haven't talked to Pat on a Monday in a long time. And then there he is. Say his name and he appears. Hi, friend. How are you?
Good, man. How are you? It's great to see you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling after dominating the John Deere Classic?
You know what? I feel more refreshed today than I have in 25 years of going out there and doing it. It was fun this weekend I did some work here and there, but obviously the shows were Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I actually watched golf a little bit this weekend, which was something people would think like, of course you watched golf, you've covered it forever. But I spent a whole bunch of time in a trailer writing shows and getting ready for shows. So like I didn't get to see a lot of the actual golf itself. So I always saw the ends and that was always fun, but it was Andrew Lehman, and we had him on earlier. What a great human being to allow me. You wouldn't let me do that. What if I said to you, hey Pat, I'm going to take over your office for a week? What would you say to me?
Yeah, I'm usually not in there. So yeah, you'd be fine. Wouldn't even notice.
That's true. But for him, he's like, I say this in a nice way. He's a neat freak. He doesn't like his stuff messed up and all that kind of stuff. So like there was that pressure. But do you know what today is? Not today, but yesterday was?
Your birthday?
No, but good thing you didn't miss it. You know what my birthday is? My birthday and Iowa Football Media Day are the same day this year.
Oh, wow.
That won't be annoying at all. Like, I won't walk around telling everybody to tell me happy birthday at all. It won't be bad. But no, 6 months ago yesterday, I started this stupid little show. So finally,
I thought we celebrated that already. Didn't we celebrate that already?
We didn't celebrate anything yet. You haven't sent me a present or anything. So please get on that. Please do that. But yeah, we thought my math was a little off, but January 6th, the day that people in this country will remember for a long time, for when I started this show. It was when I started the show. It's like, so yesterday was 6 months. That's stupid that people have allowed me to do this for 6 months, and people are watching this right now. I don't know why.
It's great. Well, you do a good job, and we're glad to have you. Hopefully, you at least last another couple months.
We'll see. A year is impossible, but I'll start celebrating a year probably around 10 months, like I did this one. You know, you gotta get that. The only way to make sure to make a milestone is to celebrate the milestone early. You know, Are you 40 yet?
No, not 40.
So start celebrating now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I probably should, because who knows if I'm going to make it.
That's true. That's true.
You know?
How was your weekend?
It was good. It was, it was a lot of pool party stuff and 4th of July stuff, and then the kids Emmett had baseball game, and for the little league districts and all that, and yeah, just happy to kind of go back to work. It was a long party week.
You seem like a 4th of July type of guy. Can you rank the 4th? I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you 4 holidays. I want you to rank them as your favorites. Can you do that? Okay, I'm going to give it to you. Well, yeah. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, and the 4th of July. Rank those 4 for me.
Oh man, 4th of July number 1.
Really?
Oh, it's warm. It's warm out. You know, Thanksgiving,
food.
What were the other ones?
Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas number 3.
Why do you hate Christmas?
The big man gets all the credit.
Are you talking about Santa or Jesus? Yeah. Which one?
Santa gets all the credit.
That's true. Very true. Very true. Yeah. And then Halloween. Halloween's overrated.
Yeah, Halloween. Yeah.
I do like. I mean, the 4th of July. You didn't run the firecracker run?
No, I was busy. Otherwise, I would have. Yeah,
that's a lie.
Because then I would have got into the classic for free.
You wouldn't have run the fire. Have you ever run the firecracker run?
No, I don't run. I don't run from anybody, dude. I don't run from nothing.
Have you ever ran the Freedom Run? I thought you did that one.
No, we sponsor it. We sponsor it every year.
Dude,
that's a good one, man.
The race is awesome, but the only negative, it's not negatives. You just got to be a badass. It's usually hot, and it's not like it's 7 o'clock in the morning. They run that thing at like 5 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock at night. It's in the afternoon, and then it's hilly. Like there's a couple hills on that thing. See, because I'm an athlete, so I've ran that before, and it was.
I see your brother there. I don't see you there. The last couple of years, I've seen your brother there, not you.
I ran it twice, and the last time I ran it, I swore off of it. Like I literally thought I was running. You'll get a kick out of this. I was running with my 13-year-old. He was probably 11 or 10 at the time, and he's when he runs, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. So we're like in the last mile, and people are coming by us and stuff, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." He's just yelling. I'm like, you can't yell that stuff. Like, geez. So, no, I love the Freedom Run as well. Do you have a favorite 4th of July like barbecue cookout thing? Like, or do you just eat anything they put on the grill?
Yeah, I'd say the one thing that it might be not popular. I'm not huge on fireworks. I just don't understand them. I don't get it. I think it's a waste of money. And honestly, I think I've been watching the same fireworks since I was 8 years old. They have not evolved. No one talks about the lack of evolution in fireworks. It's the same stuff. Like, you think they should be doing something cool by now. They're not doing it. You'll see like an upside down heart randomly. It's like, come on. Like, I don't know. I'm just not big on fireworks. I don't understand, people spending a bunch of money on them for it to last, super quick. Like, it's just it seems like a waste. Then you're watching the fireworks, and then people are shooting off fireworks. I don't get those people either. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not big on fireworks. But hey, freedom, whatever.
I love so my brother, and we've talked about him twice. This is the most, I went 6 months without talking about Larry once, and now twice in the same show I'm going to bring him up. But he and his friends, and it's an amazing show. They do a great job with the show. It's a professional looking show, but they have the licenses. They do this huge show. It's really cool. But like you're right. Like every time, and I kind of know what they spend. I don't know exactly, but I kind of know. And like I can't get it out of my mind. Like every time it goes boom, I go, what people would rather have than money. Like it's like you could have had money, and instead you had. And you're right. How about this? How cool would it be if when Iowa scored a touchdown, a firework went off, and like it was a tiger hawk that came out? Like why can't that happen? Cool. Like we can do all these things with this world, but we can't figure out how to make, a firework turn into a tiger hawk. Am I right?
I just think it's just laziness on the firework makers. Complete laziness.
I think
it's the same stuff. I've been watching Saws 8. Like they got to do something cool. And I don't want the drones. I don't want to do the drone. Anybody can do a drone. I want these fireworks to step up but nobody's talking about it. Everybody's afraid to talk about fireworks and how just mediocre they are. But I guess here I am.
Where do you go for fireworks on the 4th of July? Like, I feel like you're rich enough that somebody does like a private show for you, like in your family.
No, we go to Bettendorf Middle School and we watch. We've been doing that for a long time with the kids, and it's our group's kind of been dwindling down now that the kids are getting older. But it's nice and relaxing, and the kids run around, have a good time. Last time Kale and his buddy challenged 2 other kids to some football, and they got whooped. Then they both came back and blamed each other. So that was an exciting one. I was doing the color commentary from afar. A lot of stuff can't put on the radio.
But that's how you stay ready for the season, right?
That's how you.
That
was my first it's my first dry run.
Yeah, people think you're a natural. No, like you have to put the work in. And here you are in the middle of July spending a holiday honing your craft. That's what the University of Iowa has right now. That's why Corey Sheets hired you. Not hired you. I don't even think he hired you. Did he?
Yeah, I mean, I had to pay him off a little bit, but yeah, he hired me. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was directly him or was something. Yeah, that's why.
Well, it wasn't directly him, but Corey runs the show. We all know that. We've said that enough. Yeah, Corey runs the show.
I've seen that from afar.
He's the face that runs the place.
That's exactly right. You talked about, and I want to talk about Iowa football in a second, but you mentioned it was a week. Was it a weekend completely? It wasn't without baseball though, right?
Yeah. So my boys, part of their, I guess, youth baseballs, they also take part in Little League. So they do Southeast Little League as well. And we had the districts this weekend, and Emmett's team won, so they're going to go to state. And so that just added a week onto our baseball season.
More than a week?
We'll be spending a week.
They're good.
Yeah, Little League.
They're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, well, they should. Yeah, Little League does a game a day instead of just like, let's knock this thing out in a weekend. They try to do it. They drag it out, do a game a day. That'll be fun. Yeah, Emmett's team won. I think for Southeast, 8U and 9U, 10U and 11U won districts, 12U got second. So
look at that.
Good little showing.
Yeah, Greg Armstrong, his son plays in the Southeast Little League, and he talks about how like you go places and it's like you're there for the week if you do keep doing well. Do you like that? Do you like the one game in a day? Because it does, like it gets a lot to sit there and watch your kid play like 3 baseball games in one day. But the flip side of it is it's like another vacation. You're like, wherever you're going, you're going.
Yeah, it's good and bad because you kind of get a lot of downtime with the kid. You don't really spend a lot of time with them at these tournaments because you're there with them all weekend, but you're not really there with them because they're playing and run around. So you do get to spend time with them, but it's like, come on, I can't take a week and just sit around and do nothing. I've got to do something. But I think it really gets hard. A lot of people don't talk about it. When the 12U, let's say the 12U, win districts and they go to state, then you're spending a week there. Well, then they have to go to regionals, and then you're spending a week in regionals. And if they win that, then they go to Williamsport. Then it's a week there. I don't know how these parents work or afford it or anything like that. It's pretty crazy. The time commitment is unbelievable. So North Scott did win it. They did upset us and hopefully hopefully they'll win it. We'll be rooting for them. They're a good little league, and hopefully they do well.
Yeah. Did you hear my
That's
rant?
for the 12U. Obviously, my kids' team won.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, I mean, they're the greatest team in the history of the world. I read on Facebook.
World champs.
Did you hear my rant or listen to my rant last Monday?
No, I was going to. I got busy. What were you talking about?
You're such a the baseball. I had a little youth baseball rant, and like it kind of. I got more people talking to me about that this week at the John Deere Classic than I did about golf at the John Deere Classic. So I texted you last week. My 15-year-old was umpiring. This was a week ago, not this past weekend, but the one before that was umpiring kid pitch 8U. And had to put up with the worst group of coaches / parents / cursing, yelling, screaming. And it's an 8U kid pitch.
8U game.
Pat, but it's not kid pitch, excuse me. It's coach pitch.
Coach pitch.
Charlie's not even calling balls and strikes. You know how if your kids aren't playing well in 8U coach pitch better. It's probably you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but it got a lot of, it was weird. It got a lot of traction, all that kind of stuff. You get frustrated by some of the shenanigans that go on in youth baseball, don't you?
Yeah, I think that it's a lot of people that think it matters and it doesn't. And it's sad. It's really sad because these kids have no, they're going home to that. There was somebody that was talking and I heard him. And they were like, if you want your kids to quit video games, you should sit there and critique every move they do right next to them and then get them in the car and go on a drive and tell them how terrible they did. And that's what these parents do for baseball. That's how they get them to quit baseball. So, if you want them to quit video games, have them just do that. I thought it was the most genius thing ever. But yeah, it's just there's people that it's too bad. It's sad. And the problem is it's only going to get worse. There's no end in sight to this madness. And for some reason, baseball seems to be the one, because my kids do all sports, and it seems like baseball's the one that's the absolute worst. And your kids should have fun. The whole goal should be to get them to play next year. And I mean, gosh, yelling at an ump over any game, let alone an 8U kid coach pitch game. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And those people should be ashamed of themselves. The hard part is they won't ever change.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I did I put a Facebook post up and then I figured I'd talk about it on Monday and I put a little video thing up and I started thinking, shoot, have I been that guy? And that's the thing is I think back and yeah, you can, and it's a game and I'm okay with hey, some questioning and all that kind of stuff, especially if they're an adult. But the problem is it's they're kids. These umpires are kids, and you're just bullying kids. Is the thing that drives me crazy. It's just be and the 8-year-olds are watching you. That's the biggest thing. Is the 8-year-olds are watching you. Boy, the sun is coming up over your shoulder, and
how's this?
Oh, that's now your bald head. Worse? That's perfect. No, it's better. That's great. So yeah, it was. Go check it. I'm gonna send it to you. Thanks for supporting the show. I appreciate you and all those good things. I want to talk to you about Iowa football because two more things for you. Iowa football, it's coming soon, man. Are you ready? I know we joked about calling the game, doing color commentary, but how do you prepare now? Because what was it? It's been more. You knew at this time last year that you had the gig, right? What was it, early June last year that you?
Yes, yeah. I think so.
So you've been the most powerful person in Iowa for over a year now. One, what is that like? And two, you're starting to look ahead and all those kind of things when it comes to Iowa football and getting ready, correct? Aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to getting to practice. This year I've had the opportunity to be around the program, obviously a little bit more, and talk to a couple of the guys and just be around a couple of guys. And really the big thing is I want to know the guys that I'm covering. I think that helps out a lot because then, just to have that appreciation for them and also to have that trust, hey, I'm one of you dudes. I've done everything that you guys have done. I'm there for you. I'm there to support you. And, be watching a lot of tape, getting to practice and all that. And it's just kind of going back. I'm really looking forward to the defense, and everybody talks about we don't have a lot of experience on the defense, a lot of key positions. And, experience is, it's a luxury, right? But it's not necessarily a necessity. I mean, you look at Jay Higgins, 2 years ago, he came in with no experience and had like 170 tackles and did awesome. And I'm super excited about these guys that nobody knows about, that aren't household names. Like Caleb Johnson wasn't a household name going in at this time last year. And there's going to be guys that are going to step up and they're going to be studs and they're going to be legends of Iowa football. And it's just going to be really cool to see that progress with those guys, because it's going to happen. It's going to be great.
Were you, last year at this time, were you excited, scared out of your mind, or both? And this year round, are you more comfortable, I guess is what I'm getting at, because you've got a year under your belt? It's almost like you and Tim Lester are like the same. Last year he was thrown in. He maybe wasn't overly prepared, but he was trying to get all of his stuff in as fast as he can. Do you feel more prepared, more comfortable about what you get to do this year as well?
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely more comfortable. Still nervous about it. Obviously, I think it's it's like a football game. As soon as you're nervous up until that first play, and then it kind of goes smoothly. Nervous, excited, but I don't want to get too comfortable because I don't want to speak freely and openly, and then that's how me and you get in trouble. No, I'm excited about this season. Excited to see. What this team is going to be remembered as. Like it's really cool. And obviously a lot of excitement, for the new quarterback coming in. He seems like he's a solid guy. I was with him. Just trying to see if my kids can make any more noise over there. I was with him a couple weeks ago, and he's a hell of a golfer. He's your typical like tall, tan, good looking quarterback, and guy can play good at golf. So it's like this dude's going to be legit. Haven't seen him play football at all, but I'll tell you what, he's tan, he's got good hair, and he's good at golf. Like we might as well sign him up for the Heisman.
Yeah, what more do you need, right? He's the anti-middle linebacker is what he is.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
So there was some exciting news in the Quad Cities a week or so ago. There's a new home for Iowa Football Radio here in the Quad Cities. It's Vintage Radio, 107.7 WQUD, not to be confused with the AD, but the WQUD FM in the Quad Cities. It's got to be, you're on FM now, man. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And props to them for stepping up and taking the chance, on Hawkeye Radio. I mean, they're going to be doing, all the games and the coaches, the coaches talks and the girls basketball and the men's basketball. Like it's going to be really sweet. And obviously love when somebody takes a chance on you, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be something that's really going to take off and great for them. I'm looking forward to listening to some games that I'm not on there. I think it's going to be cool, and appreciate them for stepping up.
Yeah, so we're encouraging everybody right now. It's coming right around the corner. If you don't have 107.7 like on your presets, get it switched now. And it's funny because things have been a little different for me the last couple of years, but I became that guy that now pairs my TV to the radio and to the broadcast of what goes on and all those kind of things. And then people are super busy. So I love the fact that Vintage Radio is like, it's a local station. It's right here in the Quad Cities. It's got live programming on it. It's doing things that like a lot of radio stations are going away from, cutting local. They actually have local content and some good local content. And then now you add Iowa Football Radio and you're on F. I made fun of you. I don't know if you remember, you got the radio gig, and I said, man, if this was 1990, I'd be so happy for you. But like now you're going from AM to FM. So like this is big time. Like this is good for you.
Yeah, we're moving up, man. We are moving up.
All right, before I let you go, because I know you got kids to take care of and go conquer the world, all that kind of stuff. The John Deere Classic was yesterday. Do you keep up with it? Please tell me that Brian Campbell won it. And I literally asked that question saying his name, Brian Campbell, because I'm afraid you didn't know what his name was. But obviously, Andrew Lehman and the guys did a fantastic job putting together a great week of golf once again here in the Quad Cities.
It's cool that we have something so great in our community that they do. And Lehman, always knocks that out of the park. Everybody I talk to that's involved in that just gives him high praise. I started by following TJ Deere. That was a big day for him in the Pro-Am. And wasn't it a playoff? Was it a playoff?
It was a
finish?
playoff, first playoff in a while. And
they were trying to copy off of the Randazzo outing.
that's true. They only had one playoff hole. We had two playoff holes. So I mean, it's Lehman, typical Lehman stuff. Like he's trying to be me, but can't quite be me. But are you okay with a Illini guy winning? Brian Campbell, an Illini grad, a lot of ILLINIs yesterday. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, that school they don't get a lot of wins, so when they do, it's pretty special for them. I'm sure they're going to have a parade and all that stuff, but good for him. It is good to see somebody, I guess, decently local get that victory. It's pretty awesome.
And if you look at his story, Pat, like he in 2015 made the tour, was on for a year, and then was off for like 8 years and grinded and couldn't get things going the right way, and a lot of people would like give up, quit, all those kind of things, and gets back on tour and doesn't win just once but twice now since he's got back on tour. So I love that kind of thing because those are the kind of stories that I think our area are about. So I think that's kind of cool as well.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think people understand the grind that those guys go through and just the amount of money it takes to just stay afloat, keep your head above water. It's got to mean a lot to him. I'm sure there's been a lot of ups and downs, and so many times he's probably just wanting to give it up. And it's good to see that he's continuing to push through and have success. That's freaking sweet. I couldn't imagine like hitting a ball bad and then having to use that ball as opposed to just pulling another one out of your pocket and hit 7 more until you hit a good one.
Right. It was funny because we're there, and obviously several reasons why 18 is just crowded and low. It's amazing sight. And he's here getting ready to putt, and these guys are putting with thousands of people watching them with millions of dollars on the line. And like, I get nervous putting, like a 10-footer, like at the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf outing until I can't feel my nervousness. But that's a different story. But it's a crazy like environment to think like, man. And it's always funny. I was watching, the Pro-Am. I was watching the Pro-Am with TJ Deere. I actually walked with that group for a little bit. He was awesome. What a great dude. What an amazing dude. In fact, I feel bad, Pat, because I was going to have him on the show to talk about golfing with Carter Hennig, which is the Calamus Wheatland young man that lost his leg 4 months ago, and then also Zach. And then I ended up getting Carter on the show. So I had to call TJ and be like, hey, I don't need you because I'm actually going to talk to Carter. So I need to get TJ Deere on the show somehow.
It's not too late to get TJ. It's not too late to get state champion TJ Deere.
Should I try to get him like maybe co-host the show?
Yeah, he would love that. He would love that.
Is Mary thinking about co-hosting the show? I put an offer out there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay her. You're gonna have to pay her to do it.
Yeah, she's that's understandable. So, no, it was a ton of fun at the John Deere Classic. It's a great time catching up with you. Media Day is August 9th. Remember that. Remember Media Day. And what else is August 9th if it's Media Day?
Oh, that's your 12-month anniversary, right?
It's my birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
No, nobody cares about. You don't care about your birthday anymore, do you?
No.
When did you quit caring about your birthday? The last birthday that I cared about was when I turned 21, and I'm being serious. Like I turned 30, I turned 40. Maybe 30 was kind of a bigger deal just because it's 30. But like the last birthday I cared about was when I was 21. What about you?
Yeah, I don't don't really care. I don't really think I ever have, to be honest with you. Maybe when I was younger.
I was going to say, when you were a little guy, you should care, man. You don't know how many you're going to have. You've been hitting the head a lot. Like anytime you get a chance to celebrate another trip around the earth, you should do that. So, all right, buddy. Well, I appreciate the Monday chat. We'll try to get through this a little more consistently once again. And then, like we mentioned, football season is right around the corner. Go tackle the world. Get out of your house and do something.
I'm going to take 2 of my kids to the doctor before I go to work. So that should be it. That's how I'm going to tackle the world.
He's a professional and he's the best dad in the world. He's Pat Anger. We'll see you later, buddy.
Love you. See you, buddy.
All right, that is Pat Anger joining us on a Monday here in the Quad Cities. I completely agree with the fireworks stuff, and I'm glad that Pat said it because I've been saying it for years. They're the exact same all the time. So we got more to get to. We'll continue our wrap-up of the John Deere Classic. Craig DeVrieze joins us right after this on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad Cities' best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves.
Yo, Quad Cities, let me tell you, if you're looking for something fun to do, I've got it. Saturday night, July 12th, the Steamwheelers are throwing down against Green Bay for John Deere night. And it's about to be straight up legendary. The team's rocking custom John Deere jerseys. John Deere employees get in free, and there's even a free halftime concert by Lois Hills.
Get away, change your names, go state.
Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets before they're gone.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Monday, July 7th, the day after the John Deere Classic. We have a brand new John Deere Classic champion. First playoff since 2015. It wasn't a long playoff. It just needed one extra hole for Brian Campbell to be named the 2025 John Deere Classic champion, a Illini product as well. So we had so much fun at the John Deere Classic, and we've had a lot of fun with this kind fellow right here. Craig DeVrieze joining us. It's around 11 o'clock. It's a weekday. I feel like if I didn't call you, you wouldn't know what to do. The cigar is still rolling. How are you, my friend? How do you spend the morning after the John Deere Classic?
I used to spend it in bed, but now I've got 2 small dogs who won't allow for such a thing, not to mention a wife. But I am an old retiree, so this is new ground to plow.
it was such a fun week. I guess we'll start with the champion. I got some other things I want to talk to you about, but what did you take away? What headline did you take away from Sunday at the John Deere Classic and Brian Campbell winning the John Deere Classic?
Well, what I wrote on PGAtour.com was that ILLINI is not enough to when you're telling the Brian Campbell story. You have to have the fighting Illini part in there. This is a guy who spent 7 years basically in the wilderness with injuries and trying to play his way back onto the tour after he got out as a rookie and didn't have a lot of success. Missed the cut here, as a matter of fact. So, he is the shortest hitter on tour, and he's got 2 wins. This is a guy who joined Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Ben Griffin, the incomparable Ryan Fox, and somebody else I'm forgetting who's probably a big name. But anyway, it's a great story. I mean, of all the stories on the leaderboard, maybe you were rooting for Max Homa, but he would have been the bigger name. But this is not a case of Tom Gillis beating Jordan Spieth. This is a winner with a great story to tell and local ties, given his time at the University of Illinois, and he got in here, made his first start as a sponsor's exemption back in 2015, and just a great story. The coolest thing, he's a very, very nice guy, but I spoke to his girlfriend right after his press conference, and she was busy telling him to get his butt back out on the rope line and sign the autographs that he promised to sign before he came in to do media. So that was pretty cool. And of course he did, because we listen to our better half.
Happy wife, happy life, happy girlfriend, happy life. I completely agree. That's Craig DeVrieze joining us right now. When you look at his round, I think in the media center when he double bogeyed 15, I think it was, and you just felt bad for him. You felt like, okay, there's his story. That's unfortunate. And I immediately shifted my attention to, Homa was hanging around and Grillo was there, and I just kind of I thought, nah, and then just the way he played his shot on 17, his second shot to give him a chance at eagle, and then he birdies, just spectacular. Kind of talk about recovering, because I think being so late in the round too, Craig, that's 15 to double bogey 15 and still win the John Deere Classic is impressive.
It's that fighting Illini in him. It's that fight. This is a guy who has been, he really has been steeled by the journeyman's journey, and to be a 2-time winner now on the PGA Tour in a single year is just a fantastic story. And he just shook that off. That's what he knew he had. He knew he had 17 coming up, and he felt good about 18. And it would have been. If he'd made that eagle putt, that would have been quite a story. Here's a guy again. He had 3-wood in, and he laced it. That was just a great shot. So, there were so many guys though who had a chance yesterday afternoon. I've never seen. That happens at the John Deere Classic pretty frequently, but that leaderboard was popping like a fireworks display, much maybe to Pat Anger's chagrin.
Absolutely. You look at it too, Craig. It wasn't. I came in yesterday thinking, all right, we're at 15 with a leader. We're going to get to 19, probably 20, and it always gets to 20. And it didn't. And to look at last year being at 28, this year being at 18, I guess what is your thoughts on the factors that had it where last year's winner and this year's winner 18 shots apart? What was the difference this year from last year?
10 shots apart. But it's really what it was a kind of a weird day. Like this was a weird John Deere Classic where the scoring wasn't quite as low as you would anticipate because we didn't get rain until yesterday. And then, the rain that came overnight obviously softened the golf course up and made for some great opportunities for the guys way back in the pack. There's a guy named Michael Thorbjornsson who one of us a week ago Sunday may have may have mentioned as a potential winner. I got to the golf course and it was 59 watch. I mean, he's standing on 17T, 9 under for the day, and kind of chops it up with a double bogey, but then makes birdie on 18, and he shot a 63 to match the same number that he shot on Sunday last year when he shared runner-up honors with Luke Clanton, and he went out, and then behind him Bo Hostler shot a 63, and then Lucas Glover and his playing partner.
Trying to think who it was.
They both shot 64s and ended up tying for second or third. So it was a pretty amazing day all in all. But then the rains came. Max he birdied his first 3, and we thought, okay, here comes the Max Homa is back coronation. But like all of the final groups, the rain that was intermittent, but pretty, when it rained, it was pretty steady on those guys. Once they teed off right around 12:45, that made a difference. That actually brought the scoring, held the scoring down a little bit. Those guys struggled a little bit when Campbell made his double bogey, on 15. He said he slipped on the tee, so there was that to deal with. So that had a lot to do with the leaders not running off. Davis Thompson had a horrible day by his standards, and he's kind of grumpy is what he was, but you can forgive him for that. But Emiliano Grillo and our champion Brian Campbell, they both shot the same scores all 4 days: 66 on Thursday, 65 on Thursday, 66 on Friday, 68 on Saturday, and 67 on Sunday, and they end up at 18 under, which is the highest winning score to par since Bryson DeChambeau in 2018,
17 or 18. Yeah. I think it's 18. Craig, when you look at this too, you mentioned Max Homa, and he drew a great crowd, and Ricky too. And those are the fun things about the John Deere Classic. But and he played well, but he just couldn't get that putter going, especially after you mentioned 2, 3, and 4. I think he birdied, and then after that, he missed 10 a 10-footer on 17, probably a 10-footer on 18, or he's in this mix talking. What will we remember about Max Homa this year at the John Deere Classic?
Well, hopefully we'll remember that this is a tournament that really lit his spark, and that he remembers that pretty well, and he comes back and sees us again, because he did have a really great week compared to where he was. I mean, between last year and this year, he'd fallen practically 90 spots in the OWGR, and he was he climbed back in the top 100 in the FedEx Cup standings with his T5 here. So he's got a chance to make the playoffs, and if he really did find something with his driver, he was talking on Thursday about going out Wednesday after the Pro-Am and still working through it and finding something sequencing his legs. See, when golf fixes are that hard to say, they're hard. That's why they're hard for idiots like us to process. So, but anyway, he found it, and he drove the ball pretty good this week, and it made all the difference in the world, because he knows he can iron it and wedge it, and if the putter's working, he's a threat. So, I mean, he was there. He could have won yesterday. You're right. He left some shots out there, but boy, all of them did. And boy, David Lipsky, you got to feel for him to find that to lose his drive on 18 when he's tied for the lead after a spectacular 17. That's golf, and we saw a lot of golf. That's golf out at Deere Run this week. Also, Jackson Koiven, T11.
Yeah.
Spectacular, and it was all just learning for him, because he's going back to Auburn for his junior season, and boy, he'll be back out. Hope we see him again.
Yeah, so young but super talented. Great tie to the Quad Cities. His dad, a 1982 grad. Is that right, Craig?
Yes.
From Moline.
Yeah.
Great. Craig did a great story. Check that out as well. Couple more before I want to talk about Ed Fiori with you. But when you look at this week, besides the finish and all that kind of stuff, what will you remember about the 2025 John Deere Classic besides Brian Campbell winning and hoisting the trophy?
I think the lesson is that if we have a typical rainfall in June, that golf course is not going to be the cupcake that it has been in the past. They really did find a golf course that was, especially in the afternoons, the greens. A lot of people talked about the purple greens, some of the the spottiness, but that's the kind of greens you see at the U.S. Open, and that's not the pros. The guys consistently said the greens were great. They didn't complain about the greens. They did note that they spiked up a little bit as the leaders came around. The last players of the day got the worst of the greens, but it played firmer. The ball ran out, and you would think that would be good for the Bombers, but when the ball runs out, it tends to run out into the rough and into places you don't want it to be. So the scoring was down, and that was very, very interesting. I think that's what we take away from it. When the course played as fast as it's played in a long time, the shortest hitter on tour won the day. I mean, I think there's a lesson there.
Yeah. It was funny. I talked to Zach after Saturday, round 3, and he said this was one of the hardest conditions he'd seen at the John Deere Classic with the winds, and they were swirling, and it was just the conditions. The conditions were difficult, and it was funny because I got so many text messages, a lot of text messages. One was either like, "What's wrong with these guys?" And it's like, no, it's not that easy. Like, it's not that easy to just come here and shoot 25 under and win a championship. And then also, come on, Craig.
That's Barry Cronin.
Of course, Barry's sabotaging. Always has. But also, I got the color of the greens. What's wrong with the greens? Are the greens and you talk to any golfer, Craig, and they're like, the greens are great. They're fine. It's just because it was burnt out a little bit because of the weather and all those kind of things as well.
It just didn't get it didn't get the kind of water. It didn't have the kind of moisture built up coming into the tournament that it always has when we get big rains tournament week or in the month leading up to it. So that they were those greens were the kind of greens that these guys are used to encountering. They rolled probably 12 to 13 consistently, and that's what happens when greens are a little bit faster. They don't look as good or as green on TV. So yeah, I heard from a lot of folks who were, what's wrong with the greens?
Yeah.
Well, nothing was wrong with the greens. They were actually testing these guys for a change.
Yeah,
so,
which is good. And you got to a point last year, Craig, where when it was 28 under, it was like, I don't want to see 30 under win the John Deere Classic eventually. So it was nice to take a step back and show that this course can have some teeth depending on what's going on and all those kind of things as well.
one thing I heard that was pretty interesting throughout the week was there were several guys who talked about how the drives made them uncomfortable. And what you've always heard from guys who come here is that the course really fits their eye. That DA set up a golf course that you can cut it, you can draw it, you can hit it straight. And when they were talking about the drives made them uncomfortable, I think that was because the fairways were firm and you could not stay in a fairway, if you were a little offline. And so that was a big part of it, I think. And really, to that extent, that's how championship golf is supposed to be contested. When you get to a U.S. Open, they don't put any water on the greens. They might go out there with a thimble and dump some out there. But that was a good test this week and last week, and I think that for the most part it was appreciated. Nobody complained about the greens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 2 more for you before I let you go. It was a good week, numbers-wise, I think, at the Quad Cities. A lot of fans. Thursday seemed really, really good. Friday was the 4th of July, which I think was up from last year's 4th of July, which would have been Thursday. It felt like it that way. And then I thought the numbers on the weekends were fantastic. With that said, I get the feeling.
I found Friday to be pretty sparse, but even the biggest gallery out there following Homa and Ricky was maybe a high 200 a high 200, if that. So, but it's that's the nature of the beast, and yeah, I think they got a boost on Thursday by being a pre-holiday. Folks were off, and then absolutely the weekend just killed it. Yesterday was fantastic. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And obviously,
it's trying to find out, I think it's a little bit of working the 4th of July into what's going on. And I think people are starting to work the John Deere Classic into their 4th of July, if that makes any sense. And you have the Thursday before the 4th of July. So a lot of people are probably off on Thursday. So maybe they just got their weekend rolling. And it's going to be interesting to find how we kind of continue to work the 4th of July. And I think this event will become a tradition with a lot of people on the 4th of July. Hey, it's the 4th of July Day weekend. Let's go listen to music. Let's go listen to some golf or watch some golf at the John Deere Classic. Boy, I sure hope so. Go ahead.
Yeah, you hope that's the case. I know that Andrew and his staff are a little bit trepidatious about having 4th of July on a weekend next year, if that's what the schedule calls for. But they'll find a way. They'll get it done. I mean, and Quad Cityans will still come up. I bet they have a great concert on next Saturday.
Yes,
Saturday of
Saturdays.
next year.
I think Saturday is going to be the headline.
I think that Bruce Springsteen will, coupled with I don't know, they're going to do something. They're going to counter this with a really good plan. I think Deere is obviously a big partner in this. The concerts on the course are very much a Deere initiative, and they've worked out spectacularly. And I think next year you'll probably, Zach Brown was a huge attraction on Sunday, and it should have been, because boy was he good.
He was awesome.
From my outdoor office. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Dirk Penley went a little shorter, but put on a good show. They've really found a formula there, and I think they'll try to find a way to counter the 4th of July competition with a really, really, really big shoe next year.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Before I let you go, Ed Fiori passed away yesterday. Your thoughts with that man, golf in the Quad Cities, a former champion. What comes to mind when you hear that?
Well, obviously it's 96 and the fact that, the Tiger Slayer who took the kid down, hitting it from 80 yards behind all weekend. It was Steady Eddie, really. I mean, Tiger took himself out of the tournament with a big quadruple bogey on number 4, and then a 4-putt on number 7, the easiest hole at Oakwood. And so Quad City was the great Ron Sirek lead for AP. And but yeah, no, Eddie, I think he patented even or copyrighted the name Tiger Slayer. But I had hoped to try to get in touch with him for the Magic Happen story to get a little bit. But there was a lot of he took a lot of glee in knowing that everybody, and I mean everybody on that golf course, was pulling for the kid, and that he prevailed. And it's always fun to see the trophy pictures of the trophy presentation with the most dour look on Kim Huffam's face, standing behind Eddie as he hefted that trophy. And I think to some extent he held that against the tournament in later years. He didn't come back for media day the next year, and he also did not come back after his defense. But it was a great story. You can't take anything away from him. He's a four-time winner. He won that week when he was just about ready to say, I'm done. I think he was 47 or maybe 42. But anyway, he was struggling to the point where he was thinking about buying a charter boat and taking up tourists going fishing. So interestingly, I never really talked to Fiori that much that week. That was Craig Cooper's take. He still revels in the fact that was the best winner. No, Craig, you're wrong. If Tiger Woods had won this thing, it would have been just absolutely epic. But it was epic nonetheless. So anyway, I talked to Tiger because at that point I really couldn't relate to washed up old men like I can now. But it was a great win, and to his credit, he did it, and the story lives on. I mean, I did talk to Dave Stockton about the grip because he's the guy that gave him the name The Grip because of his right hand over left strong grip, and Fiori came to him a tournament or two later, and he said, "What are you going to call me now?" And Stockton said, "Well, do you still hold the club the same way?" And he said, "Yeah." Well, Stockton said, "Well, then you're The Grip."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think he died at 72, and that's probably a little too young. So, interesting that would happen on Sunday. But we did not. That was not an Ed Fiori takes down Tiger story yesterday. That was a really great story. ILLINI. Brian Campbell, really good guy.
Yeah.
Really has the fight and the reserve and the resonance and to hang in there and get back on tour 7 years later and two-time winner. That's outstanding.
And if you think about it, his story fits with what the Quad Cities is: fighting, never giving up, all those kind of things. It's a good champion, a very good champion, the John Deere Classic. Right. And you have been very good to me. I appreciate this, Craig. I'm going to book you for next year as well, and we'll chat along the way. There'll be plenty of golf news that comes about, so I'll be bugging you in the near future, and I'll text you tomorrow at 11 just so you don't get lonely.
Okay.
So
yeah, let's FaceTime because I know you like to look at me because I'm pretty.
I said that it's on. I can't delete it. It's on text. I said make sure your pretty face is up there long enough so I can see it. So.
You're never going to get away from that. I have the screenshots. So
I love it.
I'll use that in our next contract negotiation too.
There you go. I owe you a couple cigars and a couple beers as well. Thank you, my friend. Enjoy a day. Relax a little bit. It's the Monday after the John Deere Classic. Relax, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
I will. I absolutely will. Thanks,
All
Matt.
right.
Good talk.
That is Craig DeVrieze, a fantastic cover when it comes to the John Deere Classic. I joked all week. I think this was his 1,500th John Deere Classic covering here in the Quad Cities. He did a fantastic job. Go check out all of his stuff, including his article about Brian Campbell winning the John Deere Classic. Brian Campbell, your 2025 John Deere Classic champion. We got it covered here and off the air on a Monday here in the Quad Cities. We got more to get to. We'll be right back after this. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfathers is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities, the Monday after the John Deere Classic, July 7th. We have a brand new John Deere Classic champion. His name is Brian Campbell. If you went out to the John Deere Classic this week, I hope you had a great time. It is, and I'm maybe biased, but I don't think this is a biased thing. It's the best sporting event in the Quad Cities. Just simply is. I mean, and maybe even event, because you have the golf there, but you also have now the concerts. You have the Pro-Am on Monday. It's just an amazing week. Again, thank you to Andrew Lehman and his staff. We did the show here, OTA, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from Andrew's office. Had a blast. Go check out those shows. I know you're thinking, what was last week? But great conversations with Claire Peterson and Andrew Lehman and Michaela Booth and Decker Plain and Mitch Van Zuden and Alex Studeman, and the list goes on and on and on. Celia Palermo joined us. So many fun stories and fun conversations to have out at the John Deere Classic. And that's the beauty of the John Deere Classic. You think about what I got to do for so many years at WQAD. Yeah, there's the golf side of things, but it's telling the stories too. And so to be able to get out at the course and have conversations and have long conversations and stuff like that with some of those people was awesome. So go check out last week's shows if you're still feeding a little golf this week right here in the Quad Cities. So congratulations to Brian Campbell, former Illini standout. He is your 2025 John Deere Classic champion. Some other news and notes from around the world of sports. We talked about it earlier, but well wishes and best of luck to Charles Jagasol. He's in our thoughts today. He had a UTV accident on Saturday in Wyoming. Surgery, fractured his left humerus. Favorable prognosis. Favorable, according to Notre Dame. So hopefully he gets well soon. One of the best offensive linemen in college football, but also one of the best young men you're ever going to meet. Back in the Quad Cities several weeks ago for the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing, golfing in that for the second straight year. So just a great kid, great human being, not a kid anymore, great young man. We wish him the best of luck. We'll continue to follow that, and hopefully he gets better real soon. Some good recruiting news for the University of Iowa over the weekend. Trey Thompson, a 2026 highly sought-after recruit, reclassified to 2025, which means he can come this year. And he chose the Iowa Hawkeyes, choosing them over Purdue and Kansas and Tennessee and Louisville, and a lot of people wanting this young man, 6'8", forward. We're going to have Tom Kakert on the show tomorrow to talk about that news as well. So Trey Thompson, officially a Hawkeye, and Ben McCullum has done a good job putting together a really nice roster in his first year with the at the University of Iowa. It was a good weekend if you're a Cub fan. Cubs take 2 out of 3 out of the from the Cardinals. And scored a ton of runs in the process. Last night, 11-0. So the Cubs playing well. All-Star break coming up here real soon. So if you're a Cub fan, you get to do a little bragging to your Cardinal friends here in the Quad Cities. We always talk about Iowa and Illinois and some of the other rivalries here in the Quad Cities, Bears, Packers, all that kind of stuff. Iowa State. Cubs Cardinals is fantastic. I know it's a professional sport, but yeah, I mean, the amount of people here that are either Cub fans or Cardinal fans, awesome here in the Quad Cities. So Cubs win that one as well, and kind of lost in the mix a little bit last week. We'll talk more about it these next couple weeks, but Greg Armstrong and I are partnering to form River Rivals Media. Greg, of course, does the outstanding View from the West podcast. So eventually here coming soon, we'll be launching a network where you can check out all these shows. His shows that are on a couple times a week with View from the West, this daily show Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll be starting a Eye on the East podcast, kind of focusing on the Iowa side of the river when it comes to high school football. That'll be on there as well, plus much, much more. So excited about a few announcements coming up in the next couple weeks with that, and keep an eye out for River Rivals Media. I'm excited to get rocking and rolling with one of the best dudes that ever got to cover it, Greg Armstrong, myself, and several others. So super excited about those kind of things as well. Want to thank our guests today, Pat Anger, back on a Monday for the first time in a while. 54 days till the start of college football for the majority of college football. Iowa State will start a week earlier. They head over to Ireland. We'll talk about that over the next month as well. But great to catch up with Pat Anger. Always insightful, always interesting, always has a good take or two along the way. So go check out Pat if you missed him. And thank you again to Andrew Lehman for being on today's show. Super busy, tons of stuff going on for him, but for him to make it back to his office and join us at the top of the show, great stuff from Andrew Lehman as well. So super excited about the rest of the week. And then, of course, Craig DeVrieze on as well. So coming up tomorrow, Tom Kaker will be on to talk about some news and notes from the University of Iowa. Efforting to catch up with a few different people this week, including one of the, we'll wait on that one, but we'll also have the Steamwheelers on Wednesday and several other things. Scott Docterman just put out a great article about the best rivalries in college sports, probably college football, I think is what he's focused on the most. And I'm going to catch up with Doc, see if Doc wants to come on and talk about a really, really interesting article on the Athletics. So a lot to get to this week. We'll have shows this week and next week. We got a few more shows on the road planned over the next several weeks and months. And then, football season is going to be here before you know it. I'm going to take a little vacation with the family towards the end of July. But a lot to get to for Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And thank you once again. This is yesterday marked 6 months since we started doing this show. The sponsors are amazing. Can't thank them enough. Can't thank you guys for watching enough. The sport has been really, really fun and excited to see what we can build and what we can continue to do with Off the Air here in the Quad Cities. And there are those sponsors. Mobile Party Experience just started up recently. Excited to grow with them. Some fun ideas with them. Snoop, the best of the best. Quad City Steamwheelers, amazing year. It's not a coincidence that they partnered up with Off the Air and they're killing it. I take full credit. Hungry Hobo, outstanding, fantastic. It was great to catch up with Kevin Rafferty out at the golf course this past week. Rafferty Funeral Home, an amazing sponsor of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And Godfather's Pizza. First off, for dinner last Wednesday was so good. But Andy Furman, one of the best of the best, an awesome human being. And Godfather's Pizza, the amount of people that I talked to that said, like, because I had mentioned it on the show, a couple people came up to me and said, hey, I stopped by Godfather's on the way home, and you're right. It just hits. So we thank Godfather's as well. And most importantly, we thank you for watching for the last 6 months and watching today's show. It was a Monday edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll be back with a Tuesday edition coming up tomorrow. Have a great Monday, Quad Cities.